Looney Tunes, back in action. That is where we're going on this latest rendition of Comedic Tales, and there's a good reason for it. Honestly, the reason is I watched the new Space Jam, and it was appalling. And I'm not a fan of Space Jam. I think those movies are just bad. So I wanted to watch the Looney Tunes in live action, whatever that would be, and have it be a good movie. I haven't seen Back in Action for a very long time. But I was like, there's a lot to like about this. Brendan Fraser's in it. Steve Martin's in it. These guys are great. And this movie is still really good. It is a really well-made movie that surprisingly holds up well in an era where these all kind of go bad. The animation integrated with the live action looks very good. It's a little more matted. Like, the colors are just, darkened on all the characters. You notice it with Bugs. His gray's just a little bit darker than normal. And I think it works really well, because one of the things this movie just really got right was capturing the Who Framed Roger Rabbit tone, where it's like, these characters exist, we don't make a big deal out of it, we don't go to some parallel universe, they just exist. And when they exist like that, you can just have more fun, I think. You just do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be over the top or some stupid story about basketball. Just Who Framed Roger Rabbit it. So this feels like the spiritual successor to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where it's like, we talked about Hollywood and we did a detective movie. Now we're doing a spy movie. Because for some reason, this is a spy movie. I completely forgot that element. I was just like, oh yeah, Brendan Fraser, it's a comedy. No, it's a spy movie. So the basic premise is Brendan Fraser plays DJ Drake. Great name. Absolutely great. He's a wannabe stuntman who's a security guard at Warner Brothers, and he's kind of roped into this spy thing because his father, who is an actor who plays a spy, is actually a spy playing an actor playing a spy. It's such a dumb premise that is just so silly, but it works because every actor in this movie is so committed to the bit, and I think you get that better in these type of movies than you do in things like Space Jam. First off, Brendan Fraser knows how to act around nothing. He completely sold this film. Every time it's him alone with Daffy or with Bugs or any of the characters, you buy the world that he's a part of and how he acts in it. I think he did a fantastic job. Jenna Elfman did surprisingly good too. I forgot she was in this too. All I remembered was Brendan Fraser, and I'm like, oh yeah, Jenna Elfman, look at her doing her best. And she did really well. Even Timothy Dalton, who I was like, yes, I love Timothy Dalton. He picks the weirdest projects to do, but somehow he makes it work. And I'm seeing him in this movie, and I'm like, you're playing the caricature of yourself that you've played in the 80s, and it's working so well. You are doing such a good job of that. And I think that's so impressive. And Steve Martin just knocking it out of the park, doing his best impression of a terrible villain. He knew what to do. He's like, okay, it's Looney Tunes. I'm going to act like a Looney Tunes character. The staggered walking, the terrible lisp, just going so over the top at every moment, not even trying to be a real person, just being a cartoon. He sold that so perfectly and made it so endearing to the audience that I just adored it. I understand, though, how this film didn't make a lot of money. I really do, because it just feels like in the time period it came out in 2003, they weren't ready for this, because it's not as serious as things like Space Jam, surprisingly, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's just like, it's the Looney Tunes doing a spy thing. They're going to Las Vegas. They're breaking literally buildings and cars, and they're driving around all silly and stuff. And Bugs is nonchalantly being casual. They go to some weird space lab, and all the aliens from classic science fiction are just there. And I'm like, this is really weird. I don't think everybody's going to get this. And I guess they didn't, because the movie didn't do well. But I love that scene. Actually, both those scenes are really well done. I love the idea of going to Las Vegas and it's Yosemite Sam who's the one that has the casino. That makes so much sense to me. I really loved seeing that. They're charging through the casino. They're running around the entire city. It is so funny and so cool. It was just such a fun experience. I've always liked Yosemite Sam. I said it, my favorite Looney Tune is probably Wiley Coyote. I just like the slow deadpan of him just I'm not giving up, but fuck if I ever win. I just like that so much. I think he's such a fun character. He was really good in this too. Of course, the standout Looney Tunes have to be Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. They have a great side story in here too, where Daffy's like, "This time I'm done being the punchline. You just get to stroll in and look like a cool guy, and like you get all the laughs, all the girls, everyone loves you. But I put in the effort, I get my ass kicked, and I don't get any of the credit." Can you relate that to any person in Hollywood ever? Of course you can. This has been like any duo throughout the comedy history ever. There's always the hook line and the sinker. There's the one who sets him up and the one that knocks him down. You know exactly who's who, and I love the chemistry between Daffy and Bugs. They're just like those cool, nonchalant friends, the over-the-top one, the quiet one. You can relate that to you and anybody you know. It's just great to see that. But with those two being the stars, you really give the other Looney Tunes a moment to shine, which I really like seeing, because I think everybody else kind of like gets their moment as one of the tunes. Like when they release the Taz, Tasmania. I'm just confusing myself now. When they release Taz, he just goes crazy, and it's really fun to see that. He's just like so intense and weird. I love the stuff with Granny and Tweety just literally like finding them in the middle of the jungle one day. That's really cute. That stuff is really fun. Even the bit at the beginning of Porky Pig and Speedy, it's kind of like, yeah, I get it, but that is a joke that not everyone's going to get at the time. And even the stuff with Matthew Lillard and Shaggy, I'm like, that's brilliant. I love that stuff. But like I said, Wiley Coyote, my favorite Looney Tunes, he gets a lot of play here, literally almost killing them a bunch of times, but never actually succeeding, because that's the curse of being the Coyote. You never win. It's just really fun stuff. Like I was saying before I got sidetracked about the Looney Tunes talk. Oh, this is such a good movie. It's so good. So the scene in Vegas was incredible. The scene with the classic aliens and robots was really good. Like I honestly had the vague recollection, like, oh yeah, that's where they get Marvin the Martian. I remember that, but I'm like, no, Robbie is in here. The dialects are in here. Like, what? There's so many of these just classic guys in here, and I forgot about them. And even as a kid, I'm like, oh yeah, that's interesting. But I get it now, and I'm just thinking, this is great. You have these, use them. This is how you do the thing that the new Space Jam movie wanted to do, where it's like, here's all the stuff we own, reference. Just put in Robbie the robot. Make it part of the story. Don't throw him in because you have him. It's so funny. That was great. The scene in the Louvre when Daffy and Bugs are running away from Elmer Fudd, that was incredible. That was just, it looked gorgeous. Like that animation style when they like did like the paintings, going through the paintings, that looked surreal. It was very impressive. And I think that's something I adore about this movie, because when you do stuff where you're using animation and live action, you have to make the animation flow naturalistically. And that's something I'm amazed. We've done 9 of these so far, and I've talked about 2 movies of live action and animation hybrids. Cool World did it so poorly, where it just felt stupid and annoying. But this movie just went, you get it. Yeah, you've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We can make this shit work. And it did, and it looked great. Most of the jokes landed. I can't think of a single joke where I didn't get it, where I was like, oh, this is out of place or out of touch. I didn't laugh at every joke. I just think there's some really funny stuff in here. There's some Bugs, again. If you are a deadpan kind of guy and you like deadpan humor, Bugs is perfect for you. If you love the over-the-top guy, Daffy is perfect for you. But I think Brendan Fraser's line delivery is surprisingly good, because he's just so, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, we're going to go save my dad. I get it. Our car is flying. Yeah, okay. Just so casually, just understanding this isn't realistic. This isn't normal, but this is where I am. I think he did so good in that, and Steve Martin just makes you laugh at everything he does. Like, there's nothing that guy can't do to make you laugh. This movie works so well, and it's such a weird one to make work, because it is a live action cartoon. That's what it is. Like, there's the over the top sets that break like the stuff where you're at the Warner Brothers lot and Brendan Fraser's chasing Daffy, literally destroying the entire lot. That stuff, it looks great. We crash into a casino. It looks great. Every scene just has this extra layer of realisticness to its cartoon portrayal, which I think is very impressive. And what I mean by that is, when you look at other stuff in this genre, it doesn't go for that gut punch of being the cartoon. But this was committed to being like, yeah, we have the freaking Looney Tunes. We have to show their chaotic energy in every scene we get. And when you do that, you get something that looks really cool, really original, and that's what this movie became. I think it's really fun. It's not perfect, of course not. It's silly, but you have to buy what it's trying to say for it to work for you. If you can't get behind the silly nature of what the Looney Tunes represents and what this movie represents, you're never going to commit to it because it's really dumb. But it's the good kind of dumb. It's the dumb that makes you go, somebody put time and effort into making this dumb. It didn't just happen. It became this throughout the entire process of filmmaking. And it is such a fun movie. Please go back and watch it. I want to support these types of films more so than the Space Jam stuff, because this is just blatantly, hey, the Looney Tunes in live action. It's great, and it works. The actors get it. The director gets it. Everybody gets it. It's such a silly, fun little movie that works on every conceivable level, and I think that is one of the highlights of a film like this, just getting it, just making it work. Looney Tunes back in action, surprisingly good, and worth the damn watch. So that's going to do it for this rendition of Comedic Tales. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any film recommendations, leave them down below in the comments. As always, you guys can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. Yeah, but that's all, folks. Is that racist? I don't...